Hey YouTubes, how's everybody doing? Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to a what's actually quite a warm, let's say warm, 13-14 degrees, but cloudy day in Kent. It is trying to drizzle, which is a bit annoying because there was a bit of sun earlier today, but I'm out on the trusty rusty thing of beauty that is the RS. Look at it, eh? Beautiful. And out for a bit of a spin on another route. Bear right. So I've got my headset on, so it's telling me where to go. I'm trying to work out how I'm bearing right, where that was obviously rounding a left bend. And a quarter of a mile to left on the church road. I'm guessing there's a church there. Good old pickup trucks. Thank you. Some of these lanes are proper little tiny lanes. Love them. Yeah, it's so different. I mean, you know, if I lived somewhere else, I always say, oh, I'd love to live in the States or the south of France. Maybe the south of France would be different because they've got good roads, but America, you see things like Tail of the Dragon, but I've yet to see a decent road. But then we normally go to Florida on our holes. Turn left, okay. He's down here. Right. But anyway, yeah, today's chat, I thought I would spark up the electric vehicle, the EV, versus the internal combustion engine, the ICE, ICE cars and bikes. Now, if any of you have watched, and I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't, one of our recent videos, it was my purchase of a BMW i3 electric car. Now, hear me out. The reason I bought that is because my commute to work is very short. It is 12.5 miles door to door, and using the 911 really is a bit ridiculous doing that, because you buy a sort of a sports car, a nice car if you like, to enjoy on nice days, to make it feel special. I mean, don't get me wrong, it feels special every time you drive it, but you want to save it for nice days. And using it to commute didn't work really. I've got a feeling I'm back on the A251. Oh, maybe I'm not. No, nothing like the 251. Yeah, using it to commute just didn't make any sense, because the oil in the car didn't get up to temperature. You come through, I'm in no rush, I'm going to catch up with the HGV. Welcome. The oil in the car didn't get warm until about a mile from home, and on a winter's day sometimes it didn't get warm properly at all, and that's just not good for a car. You end up changing the oil you know, on a regular basis, because it tends to absorb fuel, as people will know. You know, if the car's running rich on a cold warm up, it gets absorbed into the oil, and you do get a certain level of fuel dilution, which isn't good for an engine. So if you've got a car like that and that's what you're using it for, you suck it up and you change the oil more often, which is what you do. But you know, it's 120 quid's worth of oil at a time. So I thought I need something to commute, and I thought about getting maybe something like a little oh shit, I needed to turn off there. Okay, should have been paying more attention than talking shite, shouldn't I? This didn't even look like a road, that's why. Squirrel, mind out. So I just let me get around this corner first, because this is minging and very tight. I wouldn't fancy coming up here in the winter. Obviously some nice gaffs up here, but a bit of a pain in the arse to get to. I know where I am now. Yeah, I know where I am now. Not far from the Pilgrim's Way, which I rode. In fact, the Pilgrim's Way, is it up there? I'm not going to ride it today. because it will be muddy and slippery, and I've got other things to do. But yeah, Pilgrim's Way is up here somewhere. What's this all about? EVs, yeah. So I thought, get some like a little Volkswagen up. I've done a few miles in one previously, and they're nice little cars, to be fair. Good little car. You know, what do they do to the gallon? 50, 60 miles to gallon, I guess, something like that. But then I've got a couple of friends who are into the whole EV thing. They've got Teslas and a Mustang E, I think it's called, whatever they are. And they always rant about them. So I messaged one of them, Pritesh, if you're watching. Just asked a bit of advice, really, because I did think about going down the Tesla route, getting rid of the Porsche and getting a Tesla. But you know, I like engines that make noises. So that went out the window. And then a car, I can't remember what it was, but I just saw an i3 one day, BMW i3. And obviously I've seen him before, but I saw one and just thought, okay, they're just a weird, quirky thing. So as you do, I jumped on YouTube, had a bit of a look, and thought, yeah, you know what, let's give one a spin. So there was one not far from me, so I went and had a look at that. But it wasn't in the spec that I wanted, and it had a bit of damage to the front corner, which annoyed me. It had been repaired, but it had been repaired poorly. You know, Fasters had overspray on them and stuff like that, and I like things done right. So he did say he would get it sorted and take a picture, but he never did, to be fair. You know, his loss rather than mine. So I'm on the on the bloody main road now. No, I didn't spot this bit. So yeah, anyway, but I test drove one, and I thought, you know what, it's actually alright. It was really nice, it was comfy, it was smooth, it was quick off the line. Surprisingly quick, actually. People say about electric cars being quick off the line, and they are, because you've got instant torque all the time. If you've ridden a two-stroke bike, like an LC or something, imagine it being on the pipe all the time off the throttle. So whatever engine speed you're at is a bit like an LC sitting at 7,000 RPM with a well set of expansion pipes. You crack the throttle and it just goes, and it goes really quick. So the spec I wanted is the spec I've got on my car. I'm very lucky to find it, really. I know I paid a little bit more for it because it was a BMW approved car, but it was what I wanted. But anyway, as a first electric car, it's a bit of a game changer. Don't get me wrong, I'm not what I call an evangelist, EV evangelist, if you get it, evangelist. One of these people that preaches. That's not me. People have the choice to ride and drive whatever they want, really. But having done some miles in one now, I can absolutely see the appeal of an electric vehicle. But, and this is the but, only for certain uses. Now for me, commuting backwards and forwards to work, it is absolutely spot on, because I can set the car to preheat. So in the morning, if I leave work, and sometimes I do, if I leave work at 5 AM, now it's not, you know, this time of year it's not an issue, but it's still chilly, I can preheat my car. So I walk out my front door and the cabin of my car is set at 20 degrees, so I get into a warm, defrosted, demisted car, nice and toasty, and it will do that for half hour before you're due to leave. Everything's nice and toasty, and obviously I've not had it long enough for the summer, but it does it the same in the summer. You can half hour before you're due to leave, you can either, if you're at home, you hit the button on the remote fob, or do it via the app. You just swipe and press a little button on the app, and the car then cools itself down, so you jump into a nice cool car, which is, when you're commuting, that's what you want. I mean, how many times have we walked out of our car to do the school run or whatever, the car's frozen solid, you're running late, you get in the car, it's bloody cold, No, absolutely spot on. I do 25 miles a day. I've got a car that even the winter's got 150 mile range. Now I do plug it in each night anyway, because it charges up on the cheap tariff, 7p per kilowatt. I think in my original video I said 7 kilowatts, but I meant 7 pence, 7p. What's that? About 10 cents per kilowatt. Which means that with a 44 kilowatt battery, that literally is just over £3 to charge it from absolutely zero, which it never gets to 100%. And BMW are one of the people that, you know, you hear a lot of EVs, keep between 20 and 80%. BMW uses a system that it doesn't give a shit what you keep it at. You can charge it to 100% and it will keep that constant charge because it's set to compensate for it. And the whole system looks after the battery. And even the old cars, you know, the 10-year-old, 11-year-old i3s still have got excellent battery degradation, which again was another thing that tipped me into the BMW thing. So as a commuter car, it's quiet, it's smooth, it's got a great sound system, it's super comfortable. It is perfect as a commuter, apart from the cost, because obviously it wasn't cheap to buy. So yeah, if you want a negative, there's the negative. It wasn't cheap, but the positives far outweigh the negatives. However, negatives, we're going to get to those. In fact, we'll get to those right now. If you're doing some distances, unless you've got one that's got a great range, it's not my kind of thing. Why have you swapped lanes? There we go, that's why you swapped. Yeah, it's not my kind of thing, because for example, in preparation for the Welsh trip we got coming up, which I'm doing on the Trusty Rusty, I'm nearly into town now. I'm still waffling shit, so I'm going to go through the town, because otherwise I'm going to go down the motorway. But yeah, in preparation for the trip we're doing to Wales, I'm going to do that police van on the roundabout. Am I going to get him on the roundabout? Yes, up the inside. You'll never take me alive, copper. 40 miles an hour. But I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, Welsh trip coming up, Trusty Rusty. This is coming along with me. Friend Simon, he's got a starting issue on his bike, which means that if you remember the old start solenoids, you used to get out and shorten with a spanner. Well, his does that sometimes. You switch the ignition on, you press the starter button, it doesn't start. So he has to take the seat off and get a screwdriver and short it across the solenoid to fire the bike up, which is obviously a little bit inconvenient, especially if you've got luggage on the bike, which you will have in Wales. Now, reading a few forums, it looks like it's probably the switchgear. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, it could be the switchgear, so I bought him a new switchgear, which I'll take over and fit. But what that does mean is, it means I'm going to go to his house. Now, I've never been to his house in a car, I've always been to his house on a bike, because it's a nice little ride. He lives in Worcestershire, it's a couple of 100 miles, nice little ride. But because I'm going to be taking tools and stuff like that, I'm going to take a car. Now, I could take the 911, but I'm going to take the i3. But that does mean, with a 150 mile range, I'm going to have to stop and recharge. Now, as we all know, when you fill a car up, it takes minutes. When you fill an EV up with electricity, it does take minutes, but lots of minutes. You know, potentially 40 minutes, I think, is what they quote if you've got a 50 kilowatt input, which is what they take. Yeah, 40 minutes. Now, if you're, you know, in a hurry, shall we say, that 40 minutes is an absolute royal pain in the arse. Because if you want to splash and dash, that's not happening. You've got a 40-minute break. Now, for me, it's not going to be a problem, because I'm not going to be in a hurry. You know, I'm riding to his place, you know, probably on a Saturday or whatever, staying for, you know, a day or so, and then coming back. I haven't really got anywhere to be, so I can take my time to do that. But if you haven't got the time, then is it really you know, usable as a method of transport? I don't think it is, because if you are in a hurry and you know, and all you want is a splash and dash, then you've got to sit in the car and kill time, you know, which is time that you could be on the road. So for me, I think they've got a very, very, so I'm going to turn my intercom off because she's trying to send me fucking loads of different directions. It's starting to get a bit annoying because I'm not following the proper route. But yeah, I can't imagine for 1 minute going touring in a car or electric motorcycle when they become a viable thing, and having to stop every 150-200 miles to charge the car. Now if you've got a car that's got a huge capacity, then say it does 200 miles, you're going to want to stop at 200 miles anyway. And I know that modern cars these days, and some of the new chargers charge at, I saw 300 kilowatts recently. Now 300 kilowatts, you're pumping a lot of power into your battery, as long as the battery can take it. The i3 can't. I think it charges at 50 kilowatts max, but yeah, you're pumping a lot of power in, which does make it a bit quicker. But I still think the infrastructure is a long way off for using a EV as a day-to-day car. Now I'm sure there's going to be people, well I say people, there might not be anyone watching this that's got an electric car, because you're watching a video of an old fella talking shite on a 44-year-old motorcycle. But if you have got an EV or you've got experience of it, what are your thoughts and what are your day-to-day experiences of using it? Let's go through it. Let's go in the back way home, shall we? Because for me, you know, the 911's now tucked up in the garage. I made space for it, and it can sit there for as long as I decide to keep it. If I don't use it, will I sell it? I might do. Will I regret selling it? Almost certainly. But at the moment, I've got to say I'm loving the i3, but I'm loving it because it does what I need it to do. Now if it was my only car, I think I'd be constantly stressed about range if I had long distances to do, but if I've got long distances to do, I've got bikes and other cars with proper engines that can do that. So yeah, let me know what you think. But anyway, for me, EVs for commuting, city cars, absolutely 100%. I think they're unbeatable, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think that there's a viable reason to have a petrol car if you just do a short commute or you live in a town. Oh, look at the state of this fucking road, Jesus. If you live in a town and you don't do any long distances, I can't see any reason for having a petrol powered car anymore. As long as it's trying to send me, that is not a road, that is not a road you're trying to send me down. As long as you've got a viable way of charging it. Now not everyone has. Now I'm lucky, I've got a driveway, I've got a charger. It's easy for me, but if you live in a, you know, a terrace house, you haven't got a drive. If you live in a block of flats, then obviously you're shit out of luck, and I don't know how the government are going to work that one out, because banning the sale of EVs from, I know it's been pushed back to 2035, but banning the sale of EVs from 2035, well, how are you going to fix that? I mean, I've heard everything from charging points in lampposts to conductive panels in the floor, and oh yeah. But anyway, bit of a weird one. I'm not sure many of you have got to the end of this, because I really have been waffling. But let me know your thoughts. So yeah, for me, the EV isn't the future. It is one of the futures. I want synthetic fuels, so we can all keep stuff like this, so we can keep them running forever, because I'm sure synthetic fuels, there's got to be a way of making them produce less emissions than petrol currently does. But I'm not a chemist, I'm not a physicist, so that might not be the case, but yeah. Anyway, right, I'm going to finish chatting absolute shite. So if you're riding, look, it started raining. I'm definitely going home now, as this jacket isn't potentially very waterproof. But yeah, if you're riding, stay safe. If you're not riding, watch shit videos on YouTube like this, which has been a bit of a dull one. Sorry about that. Maybe that's because I'm talking about EVs. It's a bit of a dull subject. But yeah, stay safe, and I will catch you on the next episode of RS'ing about on the thing of beauty that is the trusty rusty 250 RS. Right, cue staring in the mirror to see if I've turned it off. Catch you later, all. Have I turned it off? No, I haven't. Let's try it again. See you later. Oh, this not working. Right, let's get to a straight. Right.